Designed to work without anxiety, irritability, or weight gain. Only $59.99. You can become a non-smoker.
What do you say, bricklayers? How we doing? How we doing? It is Monday, December 15th. This is the aftermath of the Raiders' loss to the world champion Philadelphia Eagles. I would categorize it as one of the worst games in Raiders history. And that says a lot. That says a lot. Yep.
Well, it's the perfect combo of performance.
So let's try to get through this week, and we'll see what happens.
Right there with you.
Come join us.
Hi, I'm Paul Pata of Paul Pata Law, and I'm Tony Abtangelo.
So let's get some tweets out. Let's share this. If you're here, why don't you share this to other people?
Enjoy it.
Because we're open for business, man. If we were a pizza parlor or a bagel store, we'd still be selling bagels and pizza, right, Clay? We wouldn't take Monday off. Yes. The store stays open. I like that. That's a great Clay Baker line. The store stays open. Microphones sound good. Everybody happy to be here today.
Q Myers, boy Q. Join me for Unnecessary Roughness at Silver Sevens, where they love locals with great.
It's your first beer. Your radio coverage of Monday night football games is right here on your football station, Raider Nation Radio, 920 AM, KRLV, Las Vegas. It's the JT the Brick Show.
You know, we're going to have a lot of positive energy. The guys that love to compete and play with passion are going to have a chance at the place.
Your silver and black home to sound off for over 25 years.
Man, I'm loving it, man. They're making my job tremendously easy to be out here with these young, talented players, man. I think we have a really good team. I'm super excited. I'm already loving this fan base. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
And now, here's JT the Brick.
Out of the gate, JT therapy is in session. I'm ready to roll today. Why wouldn't you be? It's the holiday season. You get another day. As Clay Baker just said, we're open for business. Clay, the store is not closed. If I was selling pizza slices today, bagels, I'd be open for business. I wouldn't shut my shutters. We're open for business.
24/7. Come one, come all. We never quit.
Yes. I don't know about 24/7, but we're here from noon to 2. We're here from 2 to 5. We got the morning tailgate developing hot. All right, everybody. I think I know where you're going. Why would I say that? Because I know you better than anybody else. And I take my arrows and I take my hits and I get a couple of rocks thrown at me. But I know what we're going through here, and it's a tough time. And that's the focus of the monologue as we welcome in Golden Entertainment. I have my Golden Entertainment dinner this week where we thank them for their proud partnership. They've been my founding partner, the Golden Entertainment. They own 70-plus taverns, PTs. They do an amazing job. I want to thank them also. I saw the donation they made to our buddy Chet Buchanan, who's my neighbor. Me and Chet, if you're in Vegas, we live houses away from each other, and he does an incredible job in town raising money and bicycles and all that, and PT's made a tremendous donation. So thank you to them, our partner, and we're always giving the love during the holiday season. All right, so I don't have this problem in real life because there's real life and then there's radio. And most of if you know me pretty well, I'm pretty good at mixing radio and real life. A lot of people who've called this show have been with this show. I woke up this morning kind of emotional because on my Facebook memory, first thing I do when I get up in the morning, other than say my prayers, before I even walk my dog, which is the favorite part of the day, other than seeing my beautiful wife when we wake up, is walking my dog. And then I go to my Facebook memories. Facebook's incredible, man. They take all your photos, your whole life. And that's why I post them. Why my wife says you post too much. I said, no, you're missing the point. If I post on Facebook, then I get to keep it as a memory. And the memory came up 6 years ago today. We closed the Oakland Coliseum in the last game. I didn't know that. Did you? It's the last game ever in Oakland. And I have a picture of me with Black Hole Rob and Raider Mort, two of my dearest friends ever in Raider Nation. You want to talk about mixing business and pleasure. And they're both dead. And they're two of my dearest friends. And they're gone. And I wonder, I often look for guidance in Mort. Mort was like my guiding light with the Raiders. And Black Hole Rob helped build the Black Hole, which is an incredible business model now and so good. And love his widow and his daughters and all that. So, I woke up today going, man, life goes by pretty quick. And the last 6 years were rough. And they were rough for those guys who were alive for some of it. And, I heard today on Clay's show in the morning, and I heard today people use the term rock bottom. I'm very careful with that term because I am an employee of the team, which I'm very proud to say. Sorry, I can't give my check back. I know some of you guys want me to give my check back, and I think I handle it well, but I don't use the word rock bottom a lot. I try to avoid the word embarrassing because I work with the coach and the owner. So I am very careful with certain words that other people are not careful with, but other people have different gigs than I do. I'm a radio host, and I'm not a journalist. I don't write columns. I could. I know I could. I've done it. I could. But I'm just a radio talk show host that does a couple TV shows, a couple of podcasts. And when you use the term rock bottom or embarrassing, if you want to use those terms, you would use it for this game in Philadelphia. This was one of the worst games ever in Raider history, in a year that might go down as the worst season in Raider history. So if you're going to have the worst season in Raider history, right? So follow me here. This is not complicated. If you're going to have the worst season ever in Raider history, you got to have a bunch of bad games, right? You can't play average and say this is the worst season in Raider history. No, you have to have stacked. You have to stack bad game after bad game after bad game. And then at the end of the year, you can do what I do, and you can put it on the Mount Rushmore of worst seasons of all time. So as I've been telling you for months on all of my platforms, including my national one on SiriusXM, this is the worst all-time Raider offensive season. Worst of all time. Not even close. So it's the worst of all time. This is the worst offensive Raider team ever assembled. And they got some pretty good players, right? They got some pretty good players when you look at who they have. They have Ashton Jeanty, who I think is really good. Just throw out this year for Ashton Jeanty. Just throw it out. He's going to start next year. He had a couple of nice plays. And then you got Brock Bowers, who I think is one of the best players in the league. And those two gentlemen will be associated for the rest of their lives with the worst ever Raider offense of all time. Not their fault, but they're on the team. They're on the team. The reason why I've said this isn't maybe the worst Raiders team of all time, is because of Max Crosby. And at times throughout the season, the defense has played okay. They have. They played okay in a couple of games when they were in it. But now the defense is on the field way too long. So I didn't think they'd beat Philadelphia. And I know you don't want to beat Philadelphia and what's happening here. And, no one thought they were going to beat Philadelphia. So let's get that out of the way. But the ability to play competitive football is a topic that's very important for me, you, the coach, everybody. I mean, you got to compete. You're playing an NFL game that is an NFL game that puts the record of this team all time, and it stays with that. So you always have to be competitive. When you have compete as a billboard and you have commitment to excellence, which is real, and the will to win, which is real, right? And everybody in that building believes in it, all of them. You got to go out there and perform, and you got to be competitive. They were not in Philadelphia. They were awful. So I didn't think they were capable of playing that badly because they made a quarterback change to Kenny Pickett. So normally when you fire the offensive coordinator, Chip Kelly, you bring in a new quarterback, you get a little bit of a blip. You get something positive, right? Something good comes out of it. That's why they fire managers in baseball at midway point. They're looking for a spark. The Raiders got no spark with Kenny Pickett. So that ship is gone. I feel bad for Phil Villapiano, who loves the kid and wants him to play well. I feel bad for Kenny Pickett. I mean, how would you like to have been Kenny Pickett going to the podium yesterday after that performance? I'm sure he tried to do his best, but he had no chance. He was dead man walking every time the ball was snapped. It was just a matter of time until he was going to get sacked and under duress. So the offense is really bad. Ashton Jeanty said embarrassing, not me. That was Ashton Jeanty. He plays, I don't play. He said it was embarrassing. He said it in the locker room. When you look at this team, the way they played terrible, terrible football. So now we're at the point in the season where the team is playing so badly, there's little to no analysis left. Wow, I just said it. It's the truth. I'm a really big numbers guy and stats guy. If you listen to me, I hope you enjoy what I do. I put in a lot of prep with the other team. I interview the other team. I go on the other radio stations. I'm going on with Mark Vanderveer later this week in Houston. I try to represent the team to the best of my ability. There is nothing left that we can do to talk about this team statistically. It's done. We're done. I don't want to talk about the draft pick, even though my son spent some quality time with Mendoza at the Heisman. I got some good, really good information that I'm going to hold on to. And I don't talk draft much, but I know you want to talk draft. So I'm putting a crack open in the door for some respectful people to enter. You will not enter this platform. You will not be involved in this platform if you can't show some level of dignity and respect for your team. If you wear your colors, you have to have a level of dignity and respect. And there's a lot of people who don't anymore. And there's other platforms for that. And they do a very good job. It's not a free-for-all here. Not everybody comes in drinking, crashing bottles, driving out of here drunk, going nuts and having fun and laughing. We don't laugh at this team. We're upset that the team's playing so badly, but we have a level of tough love and respect for the colors of silver and black. And we don't kick this team when they're down. We don't on my time slot because there's too many other people kicking the team. If this was a barroom fight, we're getting our ass kicked. We don't need more of us to fight each other while we're getting our ass kicked by the other guys who are kicking us down at the bottom of the bar and trying to hit us from behind and give us a cheap shot. No, we protect our guys and get them out of the bar safely. We get them out of the bar safely and we get them out of harm's way. That's what we do in the Raider Nation. We don't feast on each other and kick our guys when they're down. We don't. Never done it for me, ever. And I'll stand by that, whatever tag you want to give me. I protect my brothers. I protect my sisters. I don't throw them in the trash and throw them in the dumpster when they're bloody and beaten. You try to protect them. But you can also have tough love and be very critical. How much more critical can I be than this is the worst team in Raider history and they're awful? I think I hit the mountaintop. I think I got to the top of Everest. This might be the worst team that we've ever had, and we're the worst offense of all time, and they're a terrible, terrible football team when it comes to executing the game. Okay. What's the shot at me now? I'm soft? I'm soft on the team? I just gave you everything I got. They're that bad. So we know that. So what do you want to do? What do you want to do? You want to fire the coach? I understand there's a group of people who want to do that. You want to bench the quarterback? I'm with you. I'd say it's all Aiden O'Connell now. Don't need to see anything other than Aiden O'Connell. That probably won't happen. I'm also talking about limiting Ashton Genty's carries. I think most of you agree with that. We don't have to run him into the brick wall. If Max's knee doesn't train properly, you want to sit Max, I don't think it's possible. Do that. You want to play Tommy Eichenberg instead of Devin White? Hallelujah, brother. All day long. I'm with you on all that. You want to get the first pick in the draft? Totally get what you're saying. Totally think Mendoza seems to be a must now. But, the thing, we're going to play Pete Carroll's press conference because it was good. I play good content. Man. I play sound and good content. We've been doing that. Pete Carroll was locked in today because he understands what's coming. He understands that the fan base is really hard on him and his future here. He gets it. He's Pete bleeping Carroll. He's 74 years old. You don't think he's seen this before, but he hasn't seen it this bad. And he admitted it in the press conference, which you'll hear shortly. So I'm really disappointed. The game went really fast yesterday. Philadelphia did whatever they wanted. The Raiders couldn't run a play. I was explaining to Gooch, who's a great program director, a big Cleveland Brown fan. We're in the parking lot when I came in this morning, and he asked me, well, how do you compare this team to some of the other bad Raider teams? I said, well, this team can't run a play. The other teams could run a play. Like Jamarcus Russell connected on 30-yard out routes, okay? Guys were getting pick sixes and taking them home on bad teams. Guys were handing the ball off. They were handing the ball off, and guys were getting 11 yards on the worst Raider teams that I've covered and you've seen. This team can't run a play. They just can't run a play, and they got a really good play caller in Greg Olsen. It's not on him. They just can't. They can't run a play. I talked to Lincoln Kennedy. You'll hear it on Friday. We did Raiders Roundtable this morning, and every time the other team runs a defensive stunt, for those who don't know what that means, is you rush four, and the offensive line matches up with each player. If you start out a defensive end and you have him run up the middle, so he stunts, he doesn't come on the outside, he comes up the middle, Raiders can't pick it up. They can't pick up a basic stunt. And then you throw in a linebacker blitzing, it's over. Oh, it's over. So that's basic stuff that they can't do. Other Raider bad teams can pick up a stunt. They can pick up a blitz. This team has no ability to even do that. So with all that being said, the level of talent isn't good enough. I'm confident that John Spytek and his staff will uncover every rock and stone to try to bring in better players. If you don't believe in that, I don't know what you're going to believe in. If you have no belief, you have no belief. Please stand in that corner. If you have no belief, again. If you have some belief, Clay, I think some of the belief would be a clean off season of personnel evaluation and new players coming in with all of this cap space and all these high draft picks. Won't be a turnaround to the playoffs or a Super Bowl quickly, but could be the building block. But we've said that the last couple of years.
Yeah, and this time around, you are going to have that ability because you have so many one-year contracts that you have to go and replace anyway. But at the same time, we've seen certain organizations like the Bills, for example, Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott, both guys on the same page. They gutted Rex Ryan's team in their first year.
Yeah.
Almost 65 players were new the next year.
Yeah, I think there's going to be the biggest massive turnover in Raider history with personnel. The biggest massive turnover, because remember, this is very important what I'm about to say. They already had massive turnover. I talked to Eric Allen about this today. When you lose Robert Spillane, right, really good player, but he wanted to go. He got the bag. Trayvon Merrick, okay, I can live without Trayvon Merrick or keep him. I wasn't going to pay him the money they paid him. No way. But he left, good player. Divine Diablo and Nate Hobbs, been there, done that. They weren't very good players with the Raiders. They're not. They weren't. They left. So you see a player on another team playing well, doesn't mean they were playing well here. Let's not forget that point. People are telling me every day, I see so many Raiders around the league playing well. Really? Well, they weren't playing well here. So then you're saying, well, why are they playing well there? Well, they went to better teams. Okay? Captain Obvious stuff here. They went to a better team, and now they're playing in a role or situation that they're playing better. Devontae Adams quit. He just flat out quit and went to the best team possible, the Rams. In hindsight, Devontae knew what he was doing, but he quit. Everybody else who was let go didn't play really well. And then we have a number of players that were drafted over the last 4 or 5 years weren't even in the league, didn't even play. So they were awful draft picks. And then we got a couple other good players. I like a lot of the players on this team as human beings, and they're okay as players. But we got to get better players, and we all know that. We all know that. Yeah, and Devontae went to the Jets before he went to the Rams. I'm aware of that. So when you look at what's happening with the Raiders here, Pete Carroll, I'm going to play his press conference today in a moment. I have to interview him tomorrow. Here's what I think about this before I play it. I think Pete now has had a moment where it's kind of hit him. I don't know him well, but I talk to him more than anybody. I'm the only guy in a room with him one-on-one. I don't know him well, but he's been, again, very, very generous with his time with me, and I greatly appreciate that. I think he realizes now what's happening outside the building with the media, and he is not apologizing for thinking this team was going to be better. Okay, I heard Vinny talk about it, Clay, everybody. He wanted to win 10 games. That's all he's used to. If he could go back in the hot tub time machine and say, instead of saying, I win 10 games, that's what I do, if he could have said, look, I'm used to winning 10 games. My goal is to play at a really high level, and then we can talk about that. If he could have rephrased it, I don't know if he would or not. Maybe he would have. But he's an optimistic guy. And the thing that I think that he's trying to make the point is that the guys come in the building every day and they work hard. And there's no ugliness in the locker room. They got rid of Christian Wilkins. Pratt was not, good, very good player, wasn't a fit emotionally for him and the team at the time. And everybody else is still showing up to work, and they're going to the weight room. They're going to film study. They're not tardy. They're not late. They're not fighting in the meetings. And Pete's used to that because he's coached some really good teams. And then none of it works on game day. How frustrating do you believe? If you can give me a moment of your time right here, what I'm about to say. How hard is it to have sympathy, a bit of sympathy for a guy who thinks he's coaching with the right model he's had his whole life, and it's not working now, and it's gutting him, and he's telling you the truth about that? That's what life is. You go up to work, you have a bad day, you have a bad month, you have a bad year. It happens all the time on Wall Street and politics, whatever, and you try to learn from it and move on. And it's hard to see a coach at this stage of his career and his legacy have to deal with this scenario. but I think he's dealing with it to the best of his ability. So from earlier today, a few hours ago, this was at 11 o'clock, about an hour and 20 minutes ago. Here's Pete Carroll.
Are you anticipating Geno to practice and potentially play against Houston on Sunday?
Yeah, as far as I know, he's got a chance to do that. Yeah, at this point, we don't have all the info yet. Well, no more Wednesday.
At this point in the season, you have 3 games left. What do you hope to accomplish over the last 3 games of the year?
Yeah, we need to show improvement. We need to get better. We need to move the football better, and get in the red zone and get some points on the freaking board, man. We got to score, and then when we get our chances, we got to back it up with what we're doing on the other side. And so we just need to feel like we're improving. And this game was so slanted in their direction that it just didn't feel like that at all.
So level of frustration right now for the team.
Well, we're all frustrated. I mean, we hate what's going on, and there ain't anybody in here that doesn't want to do something better than we're showing right now, and nobody's feeling that more than I am. But sometimes you feel like you're the only one feeling it, so we'll try to get through that together, and it just hasn't worked out the way we anticipated.
Pete, I'm curious. During these final 3 weeks of the season, do you feel like you're coaching for your job? Like, I wonder, how do you kind of like?
No, I don't feel like that at all. I really don't. I don't. I'm well beyond that. I don't feel like that.
Would you be willing to oversee a rebuild?
Well, it's looking like that's what's necessary. We need to keep working to get better, and that's in all areas, all aspects of what we're doing. I came in here thinking that we were going to turn it right away. I really did, and anticipated doing that, and that's not what's taking place, unfortunately.
This evaluation of the talent was just off with not being able to.
I blindly optimistic as I am, I thought we would come in here and we'd have a big factor on this club, and we would be able to, find success that we would be proud of. And right now it doesn't feel like that.
Obviously, had a lot of success, in recent memory, but it seems like this thing left back at the time of your career, and you feel like you had to take the obstacle of this regard. How do you feel like you were getting?
No, I don't feel like I've been through anything like this. We had a tough finish at the Jets. We were 6-5 playing for the division lead against the Dolphins. And then remember I told you this before, but the fake spike play happened and we didn't recover from whatever that effect was. I don't know. I'm still pissed about the fact that happened because we didn't win a game at the end of the year. So we lost, the last 4 or something like that. And then we wound up 6 and whatever it was. I don't know.
Based on how the season has transpired, I was curious, is that for you personally maybe added motivation for you to want to come back and kind of right the ship, like to not like?
Yeah, I don't know any way of looking at it other than that. We're just getting started.
Are you still going to find joy in this season? I know it's kind of frustrating, and wins over
She's asking that question. Yeah, on a daily basis, to me, every day is a huge opportunity for us to do something to get us closer to what we want. And I've got a format for how we approach the week, and all to get us on track with that. And I don't think that we can benefit the most out of our work that we do in this. We're on the top end of this thing, and we're looking forward thinking, and pushing it to make improvements, to get better, and to feel it. Not necessarily only with yourself, but with the people around you. And this is. That's what I'm shooting for on a regular basis.
You get paid on gold?
No, I don't have any updates about that. But he's going to practice this week.
Saw Charles Grant out there for a few snaps when you guys were kind of like those jumbo sets. I was wondering, what did you like when you look at the film? What did you like from him, and do you expect his role to kind of increase?
Yeah, I did like his aggressiveness. I thought he looked tough, and he finished well too. Kept his feet moving and drove guy off the football a couple of times. It looked pretty good. Made a couple of mistakes. And all, but I thought, we'd like to see how we could find a way to use him.
Offensive snaps or snap percentages are down on defense, but up on special teams. Can you speak a little bit about Malcolm?
Yeah, well, we need him on special teams. We're always searching for guys to take some reps off other guys and help us out there. He's got some background, been on the punt team, for a number of years. There was a whole lot of heavy personnels in this game. It wasn't, they weren't wide open with the 3 receiver sets nearly as much because they could run the football because we were behind. And so that it takes away some snaps. It's happened for a couple weeks recently.
All right, so that's Pete Carroll. A lot was said there. I think you'd all admit a lot was said there about, him being optimistic and him not expecting this. He didn't see this coming. He's not the first guy. He's not the first coach who didn't see something like this coming. There's been some really good coaches in NFL history, from Vince Lombardi to Tom Landry. If you watch the Cowboy documentary when they ran Landry out, Jerry Jones did, how bad the Cowboys were at the end. And, there are great coaches that from time to time run into a buzzsaw. And the Raiders ran into a buzzsaw this year on a lot of different issues: personnel, coaching, talent, injuries. All of it. These are not excuses. We all watch the games, and then we all talk about the games after. It's not working. And it was clear in the Philadelphia game, you're playing the reigning Super Bowl champs, and you're not competitive at all. Not even getting into field goal range once, not having the opportunity to keep it close, being on the field defensively for 39 minutes and 25 seconds, only running 40-plus plays. I mean, it's just horrible. I mean, these stats. The Kansas City game, what was it, 33 first downs to 3? Remember that? This was just as bad. I thought they played worse in Philadelphia than they did against Kansas City. And the Kansas City loss was one of the worst losses in NFL history statistically. So as Lincoln Kennedy said today, they played the Super Bowl teams of last year this year. The Chiefs with Mahomes and the Eagles with Jalen Hurts. And they've been shut out. Total. Now, is that rock bottom? It's in some category. I don't use that term, but it's in some category. The monologue brought to you by M Resort. Hey, Randy Hauser played there, and everybody's talking about it. Everybody is talking about the performance that he had over at M Resort. JD, who's now running our programming and a big part of our new family, went. He was blown away. Everybody there was like, oh, my God, what a show they put on. M does a lot of concerts, which I like to go to the M for concerts in the summer at the pool and what they do out there. And then, they got the Raiders Tavern and Grill that you can stop by, and they got the new tower. And they have Anthony's, where I sit down with Freddie Bolitnikoff, name drop alert, and have great meals there. M Resorts, proud partner of our show. We have a big week ahead of us, okay? I choose not to be miserable. This is my life for 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I'm going to do show after show after show. We're going to open up the phones. The phones never ring anymore, which is cool for me because I do 6 hours blindfold. I'm going to do 6 hours today. I'm going to do 4 tonight after these 2. I don't need a call. I don't, but I want to hear from you. I want to know where you're at as a fan with that performance. This is the aftermath of the loss to the Eagles. The absolute unequivocal no-show in Philadelphia in front of our Raider fans who travel from back east. A no-show. Unacceptable on every level. That gives you an opportunity to jump in and give your opinions. Now, how you handle it, I will judge that. How you handle it. But if you can handle it like a grown-ass adult and be critical and give your opinion, I would love to hear from you. Even in my negative, blank tone that I'm in today, because I hate losing. I hate it for the Raider Nation, and I want to win every game. But now there's a lot happening, so we'll act accordingly. 702-365-9200. 702-365-9200. Let's hear from the Raider Nation. If not, sit this out. I got 2 couches today instead of 1. Raider therapy is in session. I will get you through the days in the next couple of weeks, and then I guess we're going to do 4 months of draft talk, and there's going to be some time off. Let's get this moving today. Raider Nation, react. Sounds like Hacksaw there. Reaction. Reaction. Yes, we got to get Hacksaw on, but Hacksaw's tough. He doesn't like us, man. So I don't know if I can put Hacksaw on. We got a lot of guests and a lot of insiders, including the Latino voice. He just got married. His first interview with me as a married man. Harry Ruiz is next. All right. See how easy that is? See how easy that is to do a monologue, talk Raiders, not be whining and sniveling and just have a conversation, man. Got 500 people in here. Have we hit the like button? Are we hitting the like button, and are we subscribing for free? That's what I need you to do.
Don't miss Unnecessary Roughness weekdays at 2 on Raider Nation Radio, 920 AM.
If you were injured in an accident, why would you call anyone but the Richard Harris Law Firm? When I started my firm here in Nevada, I took cases of all sizes, and today we still do.
Yeah, Cisco, I know there's a lot of rumors swirling. A lot of rumors swirling, but I'm not the rumor guy. I'm not the gossip. I'm not a real housewife of Las Vegas. I don't do the rumor stuff, man. You think it's hard to predict coaches getting fired when they get fired?
Harris Law Firm.
I think AOC should play the rest of the year, no doubt. I think AOC should play the rest of the games because he's better. And look, I don't think that AOC is better than Gino on any given Sunday, but he is now. He is now. Gino's banged up. So I'd like to see, I hate that term AOC. I'd like to see Aiden O'Connell start. I'll get into that next.
Guaranteed.
Joe Seafood, prime steak and stone crab.
Look, content's going to be content. The coach, whoever is the head coach of this team is going to have a press conference saying we're going to win a Super Bowl. There's nothing wrong with that. Everyone gets hired to want to win. Pete Carroll's a winner.
By a standard of hospitality, century. Inside the forum.
All right, so I gave you an M Resort. I'm going to try to give 1 or 2 a day. We should be pretty good on race.
Social private, semi-private dining for both intimate and large party gatherings.
How are we doing on Canes?
This is Keith Rick.
Yeah, I got to get you more of them.
Round trip.
And you got Harry's number.
Traffic or waiting in long taxi or rideshare lines. M-Ride it, and you'll get in and out.
I'm tan because I have on tan makeup. I was in the makeup chair with. Yes, I know makeup doesn't hurt for anybody, but me and Eric Allen had a little makeup this morning, and I couldn't take it off. So a little bronzer, man, looking like I just came from the beach, huh? Rob, Pete Carroll wasn't a bad hire. Pete Carroll got hired because he's a Super Bowl champion coach. Stop that BS. Pete Carroll was worthy of this job. He was. It hasn't worked out, but don't act like he wasn't qualified to be a job. That's stupid and ridiculous. Okay? At the end of the year, if Pete Carroll wasn't the guy, I don't know that or not. I have no insight. It's not going to be, well, thank you, 10 years ago. So some guys 10 years ago were great, you know, and that doesn't hurt their legacy. What have you done for me lately?
Temporary resort experience with an ideal location on the Las Vegas Strip. And parking is always free. Hey, Las Vegas.
Oh, see how I'm just relaxing, getting my heart rate down.
Years, market inside and out. So if you're buying, selling, investing, maybe you have.
Yeah, they underestimated the roster. Stephen Price, very good. They underestimated the roster. Yeah, they did. I think the roster was not as good as probably a couple people thought, and it's come back to really bite them, and they have a chance to turn that around.
SellVegas.com. Real estate. Broker number 100960.
Hi, I'm Paul Powell.
I hate the zone defense. I do. I hate this zone. I think this cover 3 zone defense is just awful. But they're running it for a reason. These are smart guys. Patrick Graham and Pete Carroll are running it because they don't have the guys to play one-on-one. Yeah, Porter's getting torched. Who told you that? I did. He could be a good player. I told you Caillou would get torched. Caillou got torched. But he's a good young player. But it's not Charles Woodson and Mike Haynes, man. Okay.
Coming up, it's the Dolphins at the Steelers. With a win over the
the Steelers tonight. Yes, the Steelers tonight.
for Tua Tagovailoa and Miami, their season turnaround continues with 4 consecutive wins. Join me and Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner to find out who wins the Dolphins and Steelers on Monday Night Football.
Monday night on Raider Nation Radio, 920 a.m.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by PT. The best happy hour in town, 5 to 7 p.m. and midnight to 2 a.m.
And this game was so slanted in their direction that it just didn't feel like that at all.
It's a level of frustration right now for the team.
Oh, we're all frustrated. I mean, this we hate what's going on, and there ain't anybody in here that doesn't want to do something better than we're showing right now, and nobody's feeling that more than I am. But sometimes you feel like you're the only one feeling it, you know. So we'll try to get through that together, and it just hasn't worked out the way we anticipated.
Pete, I'm curious. During these final 3 weeks of the season, do you feel like you're coaching for your job? Like, I wonder how do you kind of like?
No, I don't feel like that at all. I really don't. I don't. I'm well beyond that. I don't feel like that.
Yeah, that's Pete Carroll being brutally honest at the press conference today. Paul Gutierrez quoted Pete Carroll, "We're all frustrated. We hate what's going on. Nobody's feeling that more than I am. It hasn't worked out the way we anticipated." I'm going to bookmark that. That's Pete Carroll. I'll ask him tomorrow to comment on that quote or something similar to that. You know, I'm not going to spend 10 minutes with Pete Carroll talking about how bad the team played. We know how bad the team played. He addressed it today. It's terrible. I'm going to address it tomorrow. He's going to tell us, and then we're going to move on to the Texans and see what that game looks like. And oh boy, that's a big boy fight. You know, I gave you the barroom brawl mentality. The Texans are the guys outside the barroom brawl ready to come in with the guys with no shirts on, with biceps and like ready to fight. So get ready. You better be able to fight for your brother in Houston because these guys are game wreckers. These guys are nasty as it gets. Raiders are going to have to be ready for that. My first interview with Harry Ruiz as a married man. Congratulations, Harry. Congratulations on your life, your future, what's happening to you, and very happy for you. How are you?
What's up, JT? I'm doing all right. I really appreciate it, brother. Thank you.
Let's get to Pete Carroll today and everything that happened and the performance in this game. It wasn't a performance. It was so lopsided again statistically. And I still think it comes down to the offensive line not being able to establish the run. Once the run game is attempted and it fails so easily, there's not much to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you don't have the offensive line protecting even mobile quarterback or a quarterback that's more mobile than your latest option, in this case, Kenny Pickett, who gets sacked 4 times in the game where you can't protect and open holes for your running back in Ashton Genty. You can't give the play caller time enough to get that ball to your playmakers. That's what you're going to see on the field. An offense producing less than 100 yards. And it was just, in this case, a different quarterback, same story. It's the story of the 2025 Las Vegas Raiders, 8 losses in a row. And I mean, when you talk about 2 shutouts in a single season, that's tough. If it's tough for me to call JT on the mic, I can only imagine how difficult it is for the players on the field and for the coaches that are putting the plays out there on the field.
So that would be it, in my opinion, for Kenny Pickett. I don't think he gets his job back. And Gino, it seems like Gino, if he's healthy, and he could be, will. But I believe that Aiden O'Connell should get the next start. You?
I mean, what difference does it make at this case right now? I mean, the only thing is that O'Connell is the only guy that you feel that, okay, Gino is under contract next season, but if he's on the team a couple of days after the new year starts with the league, then his number increases in a big, considerable fashion. So I feel right now, out of the 3 guys in the quarterback room, or well, including Cam Miller, 4 guys, the only one that you're like, okay, this one could be in our active roster next year is Aiden O'Connell. But do you want to risk him out there with the way that the offensive line hasn't been able to protect your quarterbacks? Of course, you want to see what you have in him, and that's a big thing. But at the same time, is he your best chance of success with this version of the Raiders this season? It's already lost. So that's my only big question mark right here. Are you willing to send him out there and see potentially success when everything is already lost for this team?
Yeah, that's why I've been tempered down a bunch, because if you're going to keep Darian Porter out there, then he's going to get beat, and you got to be able to live with it. And I'm living with it today with Caillou and him before Caillou got hurt. And the same could be said with Forsythe and some of these offensive linemen. Cap is not a center. You're going to play him center over Dylan Parham and Jackson Powers-Johnson. What do you expect? So with everything happening...
But JT, with the young guys, even like getting burned here and there for Darian Porter, it has helped them now for to know what it looks like on the field, where it's like, okay, if I turn my head over half a second earlier, I would have been able to protect this pass on the sideline. It helps for young guys like that are part of the future of your franchise. This is year 1 of 4 for Darian Porter. Let those guys get the burn. I was happy to hear that Grant was getting jumbo packages. He had only had 1 snap in the first 13 games of the season. Send him out there. Rodgers, 3 games in a row as a starter. Yesterday wasn't great, but it's an experience that's going to help him in the future.
Yeah, and again, it's the play-by-play voice on one of the platforms, by putting these guys out. If they've never played and they're playing now, they're going to give up touchdowns and they're going to give up sacks. And that's something we have to get used to. In the losses that aren't competitive, playing new guys, this is what happens. This becomes your worst-case scenario. You didn't play them early when the team had a chance to be competitive. You're playing them late when they don't have a chance to be competitive, and you're hoping that they play well. That's really hard. That's why when Caleb Rogers played his first game and he played well and had a high grade, I was the first to say, well, in the next couple of games, don't expect a high grade. And you didn't get one in this last game, but I'm excited to see him play again. Let the young guys play so we can evaluate them going into the draft and obviously free agency.
No doubt about it. And JT, even look back into the 3rd game of the season against the Commanders with a backup quarterback. The team went into the 4th quarter losing 34-10. And just in garbage time, they were able to make the scoreboard look a little bit more decent, but it was still a 17-point loss. What's the difference between that, where you had a lot of the starters, and now that you're putting in the rookies, the young guys in, and you're not talking in Rodgers and Grant on players that you drafted in the 7th round like you did Thayer Mumford a couple of years back. You're talking about guys that you committed a 3rd-round pick with them. That's the only thing that's, for me, like, man, I feel like we could have seen these guys earlier in the season and have them a little bit more polished at this stage of the game.
So what do you expect going forward, Harry? I mean, we're the flagship. I don't talk about the head coach until decisions are being made out of respect, but we kind of know what the fans are thinking here and the personnel. And then you got Mendoza, right? Mendoza out there winning the Heisman. The Raiders could get him number 1 overall. How are you constructing your prep and what you think is going to happen over the next 3 weeks?
I mean, I still work my tail off no matter if I'm calling a 2-12 team or a 12-2 team. I'm still not at the stage of the game like Pete Carroll said when he got asked about his job status, where he doesn't think about that. I think about it every single day. So I still work my tail off, get ready, get prepped the same way. And unfortunately, the team, instead of taking steps forward, they're taking steps back. With the Denver game, at least we could talk about, hey, you know what? You got Max Crosby being a beast. You got the rookies getting some burn and looking positive. After the game in Philadelphia, we got 1 sack for Max. That was awesome, getting the 10 sacks, 2nd in the league in tackles for loss. But besides that, what else could you talk of where it was like, this seems like something positive? So just try to figure out, okay, what can this team do, even in bad moments, to take steps forward? Maybe not as a 53-man roster, but to see like, okay, Darian Porter, I like the burn that he got right here. Or Caleb Rogers, I like what he did here. Or even talk about Besh and Thornton, who were high draft picks for the Raiders this season and have been getting limited looks. I would like to see more connection with the quarterbacks, with these guys who, unlike a Tyler Lockett, who is on a 1-year deal, or Jacoby Myers, who is gone, get them the ball. Let's see what we got with the young guys. That's my main focus right now. It's like, okay, maybe the collective success isn't there. Let's see what individually these guys can make to potentially fill the eye of Pete Carroll or whoever's next. Someday we're going to have a different coach from Pete Carroll. I don't know if it's in next year or in 2 years or 3 years, but just try to impress people around the league.
Last one, I saw that the Biletnikoff Award winner came from USC. So that's a big deal. Tell our listeners about him.
Yeah, 2nd ever USC Biletnikoff Award winner, Makai Lemon. He's amazing. He's a little bit more of a Hunter Renfrow-like wide receiver instead of a big monster when you're talking about a 6'5" fellow, or a little bit heavier like a Jeremiah Smith with Ohio State. He was an all-around weapon for USC, obviously double-digit catches for touchdowns, but he also ran for a couple of touchdowns. He threw for a touchdown against Oregon. He's going to be a first-rounder, no doubt about it, for SC this season. And the funny part is, coming into the year, I thought Jacoby Lane, who is more of the description of a 6'4", 220 wide receiver who makes one hand amazing catches, he was going to be the first wide receiver drafted for USC from USC in the 2026 draft. And no, it ends up being Mekhi Lemon, who's a little bit undersized, but man, that guy has heart, balls out. And I love it that he did in the Big Ten, which is a conference that's recognized for its defense. And he was able to have better numbers than Jeremiah Smith from Ohio State.
Thank you, Harry. Congratulations on everything again in your personal life, and we'll see you in the building soon. Thank you.
Thanks, JC. Have a nice week, brother.
You got it. Harry Ruiz, the Spanish voice of the Raiders. That was brought to you by Remy Martin, 1738, the official cognac of the show. Whenever we do a deep dive and we're talking X's and O's, it's our great friends at Remy, Sip Like Sports Royalty. Hey, get a Manhattan. We had a big event at my party, and there was a Remy Martin Manhattan that everybody was drinking. My wife loved it. Fantastic. The old-fashioned and espresso martini. So when you get the espresso martini, ask for Remy Martin 1738 or the Remy Sidecar, which is an unbelievable cocktail. Remy 1738, Sip Like Sports Royalty. All right, Clay, we got through 43 minutes on a Monday. It's not hard. What we do is not hard. It's difficult when you want to win, when you want the team to win. When was the last time you came in here with the celebratory Monday show?
It's been a while.
Been a long time.
It's been months.
It's been months since we had a Victory Monday where I could get off the air at 11 at night and come in here and say, wow, they won the game. Let's go over the good highlights. And it's loss after loss, and it doesn't happen. It happened with Antonio Pierce 10 in a row. Feels like it's happening now, but there's a lot of people with pride in that building. A lot of people with pride that are not going to be here who are trying to put their actions on tape and to get out there and perform. I will say this, and I want to share this quickly before we came back. Hosted Raiders Roundtable today with Lincoln Kennedy and Eric Allen. We had a whole bunch of young people on the set. So young people from UNLV, interns, camera operators, microphone people. And we're sitting there and I'm doing the show and I look up and we're showing the Eagles highlights. And there were a couple of highlights where the quarterback or the running back was getting out of bounds and they weren't getting hit. I'm not talking late hit. I'm not talking late hit, but if you wanted to hit someone late in this last game, it was a blowout. It wouldn't have been the end of the world. And I said, and I almost got choked up. I caught myself. I said that George Atkinson he was the first hire with me at Silver and Black Productions. George just passed away. And I looked into the camera and I said, George Atkinson was 180 pounds. And he would have took these players from the Eagles and he would have rode their ass out of bounds and threw them into the bench. Okay? George Atkinson, who's no longer with us, wouldn't have stand for that yesterday. He would have played safety, and he would have taken a guy going out of bounds before they got out of bounds, and he would have drilled them instead of held up and put their hands out, not making it up, and guided the player out of bounds. George would have tattooed him, would have hammered him into the ground and stood over him and said, not here, not here. That's what George Atkinson would have did. He was my friend. He's my partner. Mark Davis put his number in Allegiant Stadium. The first player to ever have his number in Allegiant Stadium is George Atkinson, 43. Direct opposite of where the band plays on the other side, above the black hole. There's a 43 there. You think George Atkinson would have pursued the Goddard touchdown the way that you saw the lack of pursuit as he got that jet sweep and was running in? What would George and Jack have done on that play? Just ask yourself that. Just ask, what would George Atkinson and Jack Tatum would have done in that Eagles game down 17-0 with their pride on the line? You tell me. I know the answer. I know what George Atkinson would have done. He wouldn't have stood for it. And Max Crosby getting in the face of a player saying secure the edge. God bless you, Max Crosby. I can't believe that Max Crosby doesn't do that more. You can't secure the edge? Well, go talk to Max. He's too busy trying to get to the quarterback and trying to win the game. Do your job. If you can't understand the concept of securing the edge and you're an outside linebacker or you're a safety coming down to make a tackle or you don't want to hit the guy hard and when he goes out of bounds, you don't want to do that, then get your check and move on. Someone else, play the guy from the practice squad, put him in at safety, and he'll come downhill and drill someone as they're going out of bounds. Brought to you by Modelo, the fighting spirit of Modelo, proud partner of the show. Sam Munson at the top of the hour will go around the league. What a devastating injury for the Packers. Oh my God, Micah Parsons is out for the year? Wow. And so is Patrick Mahomes. What a career he's had. And Kansas City's still coming to town.
Wake up with the morning tailgate.
Standing up for George Atkinson. Standing up for George. Yeah. You know, a couple of players on the team, you can figure out who it is, were not finishing their tackles on the sideline. That was obvious.
And as more young players sort of step up and get bigger roles and earn bigger roles and show that they deserve bigger roles, bodes well moving forward.
The morning tailgate, weekdays at 7 a.m.
Boyd Gaming is the official and exclusive local casino partner of the Las Vegas Raiders and Allegiant Stadium. Bring your friends, have some fun, but always bet on black. Visit their 10 casinos across the valley. Don't let the game get out of hand. Please bet responsibly.
When you are injured, knowing that someone has your back changes everything. Our family has spent over 3 decades fighting and pursuing justice for the injured. It's a long family heritage that we proudly carry on. From our father to our family to the expert legal team at DeCastro Verde, we founded this firm for you. We're the DeCastro Verde brothers, and we have your back.
Brotherswin.com.
Chickies and Pete's brings the classic Philly tailgate to Sahara, Las Vegas. Catch every game and put your stomach to the test with the Cheesesteak Fly Eating Challenge. Tackle a 2-foot-long classic Philly cheesesteak and 2 pounds of world-famous crab fries in 45 minutes to earn champ status. Plus, free parking and valet make game day a breeze. Experience ESPN's #1 sports bar in North America. Chickies and Pete's, the ultimate destination for Philly fans. Book your reservations today at SaharaLasVegas.com.
Hey, this is Lisa Stofan. Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking with hypnosis. Hypnosis eliminated my desire for soda and fast food, made me want to exercise, and I lost 60 pounds in 6 months. My energy level exploded. I went to another session to deal with some other problem foods, and I lost another 10 pounds. In fact, I brought my husband. He lost weight. More important, cholesterol and blood pressure improved.
Legit.
My friend went, and she lost 20 pounds in the first 2
All
months.
right, I gave you a Remy Martin there. We're good.
Oh yeah, it works. Nothing has changed my life more. Well, except maybe my husband. He's so
Okay.
mean with me. Makes me cry.
I'm going to have an Arnold Palmer, one of the greatest drinks ever invented. And if Arnold Palmer actually invented that drink, that is absolutely genius.
Saturday, January 10th at the Santa Fe Convention Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas at 11 a.m. Registration at 10:30. Stop smoking hypnosis at 2 p.m. with registration at
How about Philip Rivers giving it a shot, man?
.com.
This holiday season,
Yeah, they should have won it, right?
at the Diamond Store, discover the largest selection of loose, natural,
Just add Tito's. You're right. Tito's is great with an Arnold Palmer.
sale in town.
You just gave me a great idea, Snow Raider, for a Tito's live read. Very good by you. Thank you.
Sparkle, style, and savings. The Diamond Store.
Snow Raider wants to beat Kansas City. Ooh, I'm gonna step out on that one, man. I get enough heat anyway from a couple of loud trolls. I don't want to go down the win and loss pipe. ESPN, Clay, their show is indoors in Pittsburgh. They're not doing like, you know how they do the live hit outside the day. No, they're smart.
Slot machines and 5 toilet rooms. That's not all.
Aloha.
Steakhouse.
I am planning my annual trip to Maui right after the Super Bowl. I will be on the beach in Maui.
Subs, maize cookies, or the ooey gooey brookie. It's dessert on a big scale. Perfect for parties, gifts, or game day. Order now at portofsubs.com. Port of Subs, home of the 2-foot. Now for dessert, too.
If you're injured in an accident, here are the things that matter.
All right.
Hired to represent you matters. Where they live may seem like it doesn't matter. It matters. The Richard Harris Law Firm employs over 150 local people.
Trabajamos aquí.
We live right here. We know that. We know the courts. And we know how to win. If you're injured in an accident, who you hire to represent you matters. The Richard Harris Law Firm, 444-4444.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by Modelo Especial, the new #1 beer in the U.S.
Hurts. He's looking left. Pressure. It's hit from behind. Crosby the sack. A coverage sack to say the least. He had time to throw as Crosby flies over to the Raiders sideline. His 10th sack of the year, and the Eagles are going to settle for a field goal opportunity.
You know, Max doesn't care about stats. He doesn't. I've talked to Max about this privately and personally. He doesn't care about stats, but getting 10 sacks is important for his legacy on what he's trying to do long term. JT, back with you. I tell you about Tomorrow Aesthetics for Men. I finally got you guys a men's spa, and we've sent a couple people over there who love it. I'm going tomorrow. If you're searching for a simple solution for looking and feeling better or fresher, it's Tomorrow Aesthetics for Men. And they do a great job specializing in neurotoxins, skincare, hair restoration. If you want to talk about losing weight, they have treatments there. Take it from me, it's a true premium med spa for men. Look your best and feel your best with Tomorrow Aesthetics for Men. Right there at Sahara and Fort Apache. Book your appointment today at TMRWFORMEN.com, tomorrowformen.com. I think you'll really like it. Treat yourself, or maybe some of the brides out there can buy their husband a package to go check it out and see if it's a good fit for you. As we keep rolling here with Clay Baker, it's the aftermath of the loss. Raider J in San Jose on the Raiders mobile app.
Hey, JT. Always good to talk to you. I don't get much time to talk to Coleman during the week, but man, as horrendous as these losses are this year, the thing that's the most disheartening thing for me is the leadership. And now I'm hearing that about Pete Carroll getting fired. I mean, when is this going to stop, man? I mean, this guy's a legacy. So who's running things? And like, we can't keep firing coaches. We if something happens to Pete, which I hope does, got to give this guy another shot. And we bring somebody else in. Let's say they have another bad year. We're going to fire that coach in 6 games or
it's a fair point. It's a fair point. It's a fair point.
Be nuts. And JT, look, yesterday after watching the Raiders game, I watched Devontae Adams ball out. I watched Josh Jacobs catch that incredible touchdown. Jacoby Myers, Spillane, all these ex-Raiders, the cornerback that plays with the Lions, all these ex-Raiders are not here anymore, primarily because they keep making regime changes. Even Bennett played yesterday for the Eagles.
He didn't play at all. He didn't play at all. He played a couple of special team snaps. Special team snaps. That's all he played.
But I'm saying, like, all these players are NFL grade, in some cases, high NFL grade players, and we keep changing the regime.
Yeah.
So you always talk about the plan. What is the plan? And I would love for someone from our leadership, from Raider leadership, the brass, to come out and say, you know, we're going to right the ship. We're going to get behind these coaches. We're going to get behind this team. Instead, we just got out of this uncertainty. We need some stability.
Okay, let me help you. Thank you. Thanks for the call. I appreciate that. We got one call this hour. That was that guy. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. When coaches do in all the sports with the Raiders, outside the Raiders, when coaches do really badly in sports, they get fired. From the beginning of time. Okay, Mark Davis isn't firing coaches because they're on the fringe of doing a good job or not. The only coaches losing their jobs are the ones who are doing really badly. And the blame ends up going on the coach and or the quarterback. So believe me, no one wants the coaches to stay longer than me because I get to interview them and it takes me time to build relationships, to talk to them, and then they're gone. So I'm not the guy saying get rid of every coach. Well, whatever's going to happen is well above my pay grade. And who's making the decisions? We know that Mark is the owner of the team. There are new minority owners, including Tom Brady, who has a big football background, along with John Spytek. There are a lot of people making these decisions going forward. Is it the perfect pyramid? No, it is not. It's not the Rooney family the way they have it with the succession plan. They only had 3 coaches in your lifetime. It's different. Is it different than the Irsay family when Jim Irsay died and the daughters are taking over? Yeah, it's different. Mark has given more power to the people that he's paying an enormous amount of money to fix this and get it right. And Mark sits back and says, if you need me, let me know. If I'm going to make these decisions, if you need more money, Here it is. Every time. It's got to get fixed. They're trying to fix it. This didn't work. This season didn't work, and it's become one of the worst seasons in Raiders history. That's fact, not fiction. We're going to react to it whenever they give us information to react to. Hour number one, the aftermath continues. Sam Munson, a lighter conversation around the league, the injuries, severe ones that could change the face of the postseason. That's coming up next as we continue, and we appreciate you always being here for us. And thanks to Boyd Gaming. They're great casinos. Always bet on black.
It's that time of year again, bowl season.
All right, I'm going to stick around here for the chat before we get Sam Munson, and then we'll go from here.
To you by the Richard Everest Law Firm. Just in case, call 444-4444.
What's happening? It's Q Myers, your boy Q. Join me for Unnecessary Roughness at Silver Sevens, where they love locals with great food and drink specials, plus all the fun in it.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. I did go to the NBA games. Wow, they were great. That Saturday session, that was good basketball, man. I'm going to get into that. Great. Crowds were good. Well, for the Knick game at 2:30, the game was 2:30. There was like 1,000 people in the gym at 2:20. It was like, why? Where is everybody? And then the game started and people started rolling in. Yeah, you could. And stop with the 49ers winning the Super Bowl. They don't have a chance at winning the Super Bowl. That BS high school football schedule, they're playing like St. Mary's every weekend. There's no shot the Niners are winning the Super Bowl. None. The Niners are not winning the Super Bowl because of Bosa and Warner. If they're at full strength, they might have a chance. They might have a chance. But there's no way the Niners are winning anything. They had one of the easiest schedules of all time. Of all time. And look, you play who you play. But the Niners got a big break this year.
Before the game.
This New Year's Eve, the ball drops early. The SRS Distribution Las Vegas Bowl kicks off at 12:30 p.m. This year, the Nebraska Cornhuskers take on the Utah Utes at Allegiant Stadium. And one thing's for sure, you can bet on red. Come see the glitz, the glam, the hits. Don't miss all the drama. This is where showtime meets game time. This is the Las Vegas Bowl. Tickets now on sale at lvbowl.com.
This is JT for the local 872, proud partners of Raider Nation Radio, led by Tommy White, building the city on time and on budget. Go to local872.com to find out about apprenticeships, career paths, all the public work zones, and the schedules that are happening here in our valley. I'm proud to be associated with the 872, proud partners of my show. And
yes, the 872.
At In-N-Out, our hamburgers are made with the highest quality ingredients. Made fresh and by hand. Made with a smart.
Yep, please.
Made for special occasions or no occasion at all. Made with gratitude for every customer we get to serve. Most of all.
All right, hour number two coming up. The Bears. Bears look good. Michigan football, I talked about it a lot last night. They're despicable, Michigan football, with all their scandals as of late.
Paul Padalaw. And I'm Tony Abatangelo, the Vegas Lawyers. Division Pump. With the home upon us. It's safe, enjoyous season.
No matter what your legal needs are, our mission is to deliver legal excellence with compassion, trust, and respect. From our family to yours. Happy holidays from Paul Padalaw.
And the Vegas Lawyers.
Your afternoon Raiders fix with your boy Q on Unnecessary Roughness from 2 to 5 on Raider Nation Radio 920 AM KRLV Las Vegas. It's the JT the Brick Show.
My expectations, we'll win a bunch. And I don't care who hears that. I mean, it doesn't matter to me.
He's legendary. His track record speaks for itself. He competes every single day, and that's what I love about him.
Your silver and black home to sound off for over 25 years.
Am I willing to play harder longer than the guy lining up across the team lining up across from me? And if you're not, then I want to be the space. That's where the Raiders live in. I expect excellence every day.
And now here's JT the Brick.
Welcome back. Final hour of the show. JT, catch me tonight on Mad Dog Sports Radio. The triple dip for me today. Raiders Roundtable this morning. This show And tonight on Mad Dog Sports Radio, thrilling to talk to Sam Munson every Monday as we recap the NFL as it was. And Sam, I said the same thing when the Niners lost Bosa and Warner. I didn't think they'd have a chance to go the distance and win the Super Bowl. I got to say that about Micah Parsons with Green Bay. The severity of the injury, how do the Packers bounce back from that going forward?
Yeah, it's a brutal loss for them. One of the most important players in the NFL, certainly outside of the quarterback position. We've already seen the impact that he makes on that defense just by his addition this year. He's been a phenomenal player for them, makes a huge difference. They're moving him all around the defense, and he's been one of the most impactful pass rushers and playmakers in the league, and now that's gone. They're removed from the defense. So it's difficult. They don't have a replacement for him on the roster. Obviously, they're going to have to try and patch it up with everybody else, but it's a massive loss for them. There's really no way around that.
Describe to me the resiliency of Buffalo down 21-0 and how they won that game with so much at stake for New England and seeding to be the number one overall, to hold on to the number two, let alone the division, by letting Buffalo back in. What Sean McDermott and Josh Allen did with the adjustments to come back and win that game.
Yeah, a really impressive comeback. I mean, they were 21-0 down. They looked dead and buried, and they weren't. And they didn't think that they were. And they've got this impressive streak now of being able to make these comebacks. They're one of the worst teams in the NFL in the first half against the spread. They continually are a letdown side in the first half, but they pull it out of the fire time after time in the second half and really do execute these comebacks at an impressive level. And, New England didn't let it go easy either. They swung back once the Bills took the lead. They got another big explosive touchdown for TreVeyon Henderson. And then the Bills just kept going. So it's really impressive, the experience, I think, that they've demonstrated, that this is a team that's used to being, the team at the top of the division. They're used to winning these difficult games, and they still want to be a force to be reckoned with this year in the playoffs.
I want to get back quickly. We mentioned the Packers when we started off, but for Denver now, we've been talking all year, and I always appreciate our hits every week about Denver, and they're hanging around, and then, it kind of clicks in for them in the fourth quarter, and they find a way to win. Not anymore for me now watching this team. I mean, they have Bo Nix playing at a level that is so impressive right now. To beat a team like the Packers and put up 34 points, what'd you see of the tape of how Denver's offense is really clicking now?
Yeah, I mean, they've shown they can score in quick succession and make big plays and be an explosive offense as well. It's maybe not consistent the way some other offenses are. It doesn't last, the entire game all the time, but they've shown that they can hang points on even a very good defense. Nix made a couple of really spectacular passes to Courtland Sutton yesterday. A really nice one to Troy Franklin over the middle as well, with some absolute dimes that he was dropping in there. He can run the ball as well. They've got some talented players in the backfield. And, yeah, their offense, it's not as good as the defense, but it's definitely good enough that they can put up a ton of points, even if they find themselves in a spot that Green Bay put them in where, they were down and they were struggling a little bit.
Yeah, it's incredible how they've improved so much. So what do you think of the Lions and the Rams game? Because the Lions were shut out in the third quarter and outscored 17-0. That hurts in a game where both quarterbacks were playing well, and it seemed like the Rams came out with that halftime adjustment and just buried them, and Lions made a nice fight coming back, but they ran out of time.
Yeah, I mean, they just couldn't stop the Rams basically all game long. And really not many teams have been able to stop this Rams offense for a while. Only Seattle has had any kind of shot at it in recent weeks. And the Lions, they had some haymakers of their own. Obviously, the early play by Aiden Hutchinson to pick off the pass. They had another couple of really nice passes to, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jared Goff. They had some big haymakers, but eventually it wasn't going to matter if they were never going to be able to stop that Rams offense. And between the run game, the Puka Nacua was spectacular, the tight ends involved, like they just could not slow down this Rams attack basically all game long. And eventually, a couple of failures from their own perspective, and they weren't able to keep pace.
Sam Munson from the 33rd team. So when you're compared to Otto Graham, Trevor Lawrence, 5 touchdowns, I know it was the Jets, but I find this a fascinating topic for the people I know down in Jacksonville. They haven't liked Trevor Lawrence other than his rookie year when they got him and they thought they were getting the next Peyton Manning. He has been a tough like for that fan base. That fan base has seen all of his average and below average games, and I think he turned the corner. What are you seeing with him now? Again, it was the Jets, but that's their 10th win. They're playoff bound, and it's one of the greatest statistical games a quarterback has played.
Yeah, and it's back-to-back games now where you could argue that's the best game of his entire career.
Right.
Strung them together. So look, we've seen him have this kind of false dawn, a lot of times before, and then it disappears. But maybe it is the time that the switch is flipped and that he's finally turned the corner. We've been talking about maybe his career is going to look like Andrew Luck's, who, if you look at his career, there were a lot of these sort of false dawns, and eventually it took him really years into his career before he finally clicked into being just this phenomenal quarterback and one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And by that time, he'd taken such a punishment that he was close to walking away at that point. So maybe this is the time for Lawrence, or maybe he's just strung together a couple of games. I think you have to think that, there are reasons to be optimistic because of Liam Cohen and, the impact that he's had on a lot of players already on that roster. But really, whether it's consistent or whether it's just a flash in the pan, it shows the ceiling of this Jags team, because if Lawrence plays like he has done this week and the week before, then this team can beat anybody, because the rest of the team was already in good shape. The defense has been playing well. The run game has been great since Liam Cohen got there. Trevor Lawrence was the thing lagging behind and kind of holding up the show. But if he's arrived at the party as well, then this is a serious team.
Sam, wrapping it up, we saw a lot of fight out of New Orleans, right? A lot of fight out of Mike McDaniel and the Dolphins as of late. How do you see this with the Raiders and that performance? I mean, with 75 total yards in a football game after a quarterback change with Bowers and Genty and Max Crosby on this team. There's a couple of players there, and Pete Carroll trying to justify what's happening out here in Vegas with the Raiders.
Yeah, it's been pretty brutal. One of the most disappointing teams in the NFL this year. And I guess the only silver lining is that it's going so spectacularly wrong that they might have the number 1 overall pick and the chance to immediately draft the replacement quarterback. I think with Geno Smith being brought in, with Pete Carroll being brought in, that felt almost an impossible scenario in the offseason. It was like those 2 guys alone will make this team competitive enough in every single game, and they simply haven't been. It's been so far away from what we were expecting. So, yeah, I think, this team is done. They've checked out this year. They're on to the offseason already, and the only good news in that is that they might be best positioned of anybody to get that quarterback.
Finally, how are you and Sam going to cover the injury to Patrick Mahomes in a big picture perspective? And I can't wait to tune in on the 33rd team to how you look back at Mahomes. The season's over. They'll have pride and they'll fight, but the rehab for Mahomes is going to be long. They have an offseason coming up where we're used to seeing him in the postseason. Kind of put a bow on Mahomes and his 7, 8 to 10 years and what he's done.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a spectacular quarterback. His legacy, I think, is already cemented as being one of the great quarterbacks of the game. And now we get to see some real adversity and see what he can come back to being and what kind of quarterback he is when he comes back, because he was doing an awful lot of scrambling this year. And, that's how he got hurt right at the end as well. I would assume they're going to want to take as much of that off his plate as they can going forward to try and minimize that. But I think it's a really interesting offseason for the Chiefs because, they have to decide what their direction is now. And every time before where they've had, relative failures, sort of losing in a Super Bowl or whatever, they've had a clear goal and a clear direction in the offseason. Like the offensive line got destroyed by the Bucs in the Super Bowl. So we are going to really throw money at the offensive line, make sure that never happens again. I don't know that there's a clear and obvious direction to point this team in coming out of this season. It wasn't just one thing that went wrong. It was everything. And it was always by small little increments. So I think they have some real period of self-assessment and reflection to do to try and figure out where they want to throw the resources and how they want to make the team better in this offseason so that Mahomes can come in and be the best version of himself.
Thank you, Sam. We're always watching, always listening, always appreciate your time. Thanks so much.
Anytime. Take it easy.
Sam Munson, we always get him on Monday and always good. So he said he thinks the Raiders checked out. You can have your opinion on that and what you think's going on. But we're covering the rest of the Raiders season, and then we're going to go heavy on the draft and the Super Bowl and the playoffs. Believe me, it will not pain me. I talk sports for a living. That's pretty easy. So I'm okay. But I don't want to talk. I have to talk about the Chargers in Denver for a month. Chargers in Denver are well into the playoffs. I cover the NFL. I'm going to cover the Chargers in Denver. I'm not going to sit here every day for 2 hours and talk about the draft before the playoffs even start, let alone the Super Bowl, unless there's breaking news. And I think we're going to have some breaking news days here. And when we get that information, I'm going to come back and I'm going to talk about it a little bit for a second. I'm proud of my son. My oldest son spent the last 3 days at the Heisman with Eddie George. He works for the firm that represents Eddie George and Tim Brown and Marcus Allen and a bunch of other Hall of Famers, six Heisman Trophy winners and 12 Hall of Famers. So my son had incredible access, incredible to the Heisman. I'm talking beyond VIP, backstage for everything. And I said, tell me about Mendoza. And my son said, Dad, he's an incredible person. I mean, he just gravitated to everyone. Jim Plunkett. Plunkett was back there, everybody. So he wasn't a great Heisman class. I mean, he didn't throw for 3,000 yards. You see the other little guy, Clay, the little guy from Vanderbilt, dropping birds and F-bombs everywhere. He gets bottle service. He gets bottle service in the nightclub, and it says blank Indiana.
I'm sure that won't hurt his draft stock whatsoever.
Can you believe the little guy? He looked like a little gangster in New York City.
Little Gotti.
He looked like a little Gotti running around the Heisman. But again, my son got to spend time with Tim Tebow and all those guys, and they speak the world of Mendoza in person. I've never met him. You've never met him, but he seems just like a great guy. Is he going to be the savior of the Raiders? I have no idea. I don't know if he'll be available for the Raiders. I don't know how the draft's going to play out. But Clay, it seems to be going that way, where a lot of fans have the mask over them, the oxygen mask. They're breathing in Mendoza. It's the Mendoza air. What do you think about him?
I think he's somebody that is definitely going to be on the radar. And I don't think that, we need to look too far into the college football playoff to see what the kind of leadership he has provided and the kind of arm strength that he does provide. Take the whole body of work in, because there's not many options in the draft at that position. So you got to take what's there.
I can see it coming. I'm pretty good at predicting the future. I know that it's going to be a bumpy road for Mendoza, right? He hasn't played a playoff game yet. Let me bring that up. He hasn't played a playoff game yet. What happens if he plays in a playoff game and has 2 picks and they lose? Are Raider Nation going to turn on Mendoza because he's playing in the playoffs and he lost? We're not playing in the playoffs in the NFL. We're not even playing competitive football. So then someone else is going to play well at the quarterback position. And then the Raiders are going to send a bunch of scouts out on the road to the pro days and all of that. And there could be people saying, no, they don't like Mendoza. They like someone else. I don't know. But he seems like he's a good fit. As of today, he feels like he's a really good fit. We'll see how it plays out. Let me get to Michael in Hawaii. What part of Hawaii, Michael? Main Island, Big Island?
Hey, aloha, JT. I'm over here in Oahu, actually, Eva Beach area.
Nice.
And I just want to wish you a great trip over to Maui.
Thank you.
You deserve it, and hope you check out Kapalua. Beautiful over there.
Yep.
Anyways, just real quick, I'm going to be calling in more, introduce myself. I've been a Raider fan since I was a young kid. Watched them beat the Redskins in the Super Bowl, blah, blah, blah. Followed them all along the way. I was a big Gruden fan when he first came in. He changed the culture of the team, and that's really what we need right now. I don't know if that's him. I don't know if it's a young offensive play caller, but we need somebody that's going to galvanize the organization and the fan base and have that Raider fire. And I actually, two sayings I'll give you real quick. One is, it's darkest before the dawn.
Yes.
And I believe that's really where we are. If we cut Kappa and Geno Smith in the offseason, we have $125 million in cap going into this offseason. That's second. We're going to have a high draft pick. Hopefully we get Mendoza. If we miss out and we pick a little bit later on 4 or 5, I'd punt the draft till next year, which is a huge QB draft. But if we have a chance to get Mendoza this year, we take him. And the last thing I have to say is, as a restaurateur, too many cooks spoil the broth. We need to have alignment. We haven't had alignment. I don't even think McDaniels and Ziegler had alignment as buddies. Ziegler wanted to trade up to get Stroud. That's looking real nice. We need to have alignment with the coach, the GM, the owner. And I'll say this, Mark gets beat up a lot, but when Al passed away, I wanted this team to stay in the Davis family out of respect for Al. And I'm really hoping this works out and everything turns around next year. Anyways, I'm going to let you go.
Thank you.
I look forward to calling in the future.
Thank
Have
you.
a blessed day.
Aloha. Nice to hear from you. Yeah, I go to Maui after the Super Bowl every year for a little bit, and I'm dreaming of Maui right now. I'm dreaming, Clay, of Maui and snorkeling with the turtles and sitting out at the beach and having a Modelo, looking out at the sun, and that will happen. I deserve that. I deserve that this year. I don't know when it's going to happen, but my wife is not going to say no. And we'll do that. You know, when it comes to Mark's ownership of the team and what Mark wants to do, look, knowing Mark as well as I do, I tell everybody three things with Mark. A, he's a great guy. If you don't get that, I could care less. Could care less. He's a great guy. He has a lot of friends. Number two, he wants to win desperately. Desperately. I'm not comparing it to the Aces, different sports, but you can see the success. Mark wants to win more than anything the Super Bowl. And Mark is letting other people help now more so than ever, because what Mark doesn't know, he brings in people who do know. And that was the addition of Tom Brady, and no one said it was going to be a Super Bowl year one with Brady. No one did. So this was a bumpy ride, much bumpier than everybody. I heard, Vinny and Clay, you were talking this morning with Vince Sapienza about, this, no one expected this coming. I saw 8 or 9 wins. Pete Carroll saw 10. Others saw maybe playoffs. No one saw 2. No one saw 2. That means everybody was wrong. Everyone, including you, the fans. You didn't see 2, because if you did, you would have took out cash and went to the Westgate, and you would have bet the season total under, what was it, 6.5? Okay, and you would have bet under, and you'd have a big ticket you'd be showing me right now.
And all the money was on the over.
Yeah, all the money was on the over. So no one had it being this bad. And we all got to come together and understand that as we're picking fights with each other and everybody's pointing fingers. No one thought it would be this bad. It happened. There's a lot of blame to go around. A lot of people will be blamed. They will be blamed. I just watched the movie There Will Be Blood with Daniel Day-Lewis. It was brilliant. Couldn't turn it off. Not the movie, the acting was unbelievable. There's going to be changes around here. Whatever they are, we'll handle it and we'll get your opinion on it. But I'm not telling you to hold back on it, but just show the level of respect, knowing it's not over yet. There's players and coaches who will not be back. We don't know who they are. And we're not here to predict and throw rocks at everybody until the season ends. Then when the season ends, we're going to get new information, probably quickly, and we'll act accordingly. Bricklayers, thank you. We had Facebook on today. Here's what's cool about what we're doing now. And if you can subscribe for free, you get to watch the show. So we went live on Facebook, JT the Brick, live on X Twitter, JT the Brick, and we are live on YouTube, JT the Brick YT. And all those people come together, and you might make some new internet friends. And that's not a bad thing. So thanks for this platform today. I got about another half hour. I'll take your phone calls the rest of the way. Q's at Silver Sevens, as he is every Monday. Oh, I wanted to tell you about Monday. You're all looking for Monday Night Football. We got a great partnership with Click Hospitality. And Click's got they got several incredible lounges. They are the best lounge operator by far. I wouldn't say in Vegas. I'd say out west, throughout the country here. And I recommend everybody, if you want to go wild and have fun and see something cool, go to Durango tonight for Monday Night Football. Go right into the lobby. Go to Bel Air. They got screens that come down. Monday Night Football, all of these food options, drink options. They serve everything we promote here on the show, which is great. Or head over to Resorts World and go to Gatsby's. They have the game on there, which is fantastic. So Click Hospitality, they're my friends. These are guys that I hang out socially with, and they show us a good time, and we want to promote what they do on Monday night. When we come back, more of your phone calls on the aftermath of the loss to Philadelphia. I hate the Eagles. I mean, the dirty, stinking, green, drunk birds. They got the better of us. Oh, and I went to the NBA games. I got a lot to say on the NBA Cup. Stick around for that next. That was a good show. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Appreciate it. Please hit the like button on your way out. Just hit like. Please subscribe for free. And we got big shows the rest of the week. Mad Dog tonight, 8 to 11 p.m. Pacific.